Are you living in constant fear with anxiety and guilt about coronavirus? You're trying to decide if you should spend time with friends or visit grandparents or go back to schools when they reopen? In this video, I'm going to give you a guilt-free way to approach your decisions so you feel empowered in how you make your choices. I'm Reggie Wilson, the guilt-free weight loss coach for entrepreneurs and founder of Fit for Freelance. It's my first YouTube video in summer 2020, so we'll see how it goes. For the best health and mindset tips on your path to freedom and fitness, subscribe to my channel and click the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Eventually I get around to do it every Tuesday. My friend was trying to decide if she should travel with her family, and she says, I feel like I've been living in fear and anxiety and guilt every single day for the last 4 months, and I am so sick of it. I don't know how to let it go. So you can tell she's frustrated. I'm sure you can feel some of that too with the COVID, because it's not just a potentially deadly virus. It's also got elements of social isolation and guilt and family and peer pressure and responsibility. A lot gets tangled into it. The guilt-free coach in me knows that fear, anxiety, and guilt and shame are not the best ways to make decisions, because it doesn't feel good. You hate it, you resent it, and then you don't do things that you think you should do. And it gets really complex after that. Same process when it comes to guilt-free weight loss, when you're trying a new program or exploring a new diet or trying to make some kind of lifestyle change. If it's too dramatic or you don't fully understand it or agree with it and you're doing it because you think it's something you should do, then you're not likely to keep that. Empower yourself when you make these kinds of decisions. Even if you don't reach the same conclusions that I would in any situation, I think it's really worth the experience and practice for you to make those decisions on your own and how to do it, or give you a process you might want to try. One is take a breath. Accept how you're feeling. Understand that you are right to have concerns and you don't know exactly what to do next. Be careful and mindful of self-judgment and negative connotations of words that you are using to describe yourself and your emotions in this moment. Shift to gratitude. Oddly, this is a chance to be thankful for the opportunity to consider traveling or anything like that. A lot of people aren't in that same situation and would be glad to have it. So if it ever gets too troubling to make a decision, or if it's just overwhelming in your head, take a break and recognize that you actually don't have to do anything at all. Pause. When you hear yourself use the word anxious or nervous, take a moment to write or type down literally what you are anxious and nervous about. It's kind of like shining a light into a dark room where you want to identify some of those things that you're sensing, but you're not exactly clear what they are. So you're probably having questions like, is it safe to travel? Or you want to know more about the risks of COVID and how it affects certain people, or what it's like, or anything like that. So when you know more about what makes you nervous, you can address each of those fears a little better. 4 is you want to do research on the things you have questions about. So you can ask an expert or read some information online. You want to be sure that your source is credible though. So that's really probably one of the most important parts of it. I like to use the CDC's information for COVID to help me analyze some of the information that's out there. That research will give you a little bit more clarity on what you can do to protect yourself, what to expect, what some of the risks are, etc. So you can make your most informed decision later. 5 is review your values. So knowing your values and having clarity on them helps you pick the person that you choose to be when you're faced with a dilemma or you're not sure what to do. So Fit for Freelance's core values are ownership, compassion, adaptive, science-based, and engaging. And when I have decisions to make based on that, that gives me a ton of clarity. So think about what your values are. Is it family? Is it safety? Is it adventure? Is it travel? Comment below and let me know. Talk to the people who have a stake in your decision. Letting them know you're thinking about something is one of the best ways to communicate that you care about the decision. You're not just making it hastily. Like connecting with your grandma or listening to your family on their concerns and stuff like that, so you guys can connect better. COVID has been a really good opportunity to explore new ways and depth of communication with the people you care about. So take that opportunity. One of the more important steps is just embracing that you're going to be responsible for the consequences of your decisions. So whether that's feeling like you missed out or having peace of mind, or having a perfectly safe and memorable time, all those are the potential consequences, and you have to understand that your decision is going to drive you to that. Ownership makes it clear what you're responsible for and what you're not responsible for, right? So you don't have to take on the guilt of others if you've already considered what you are taking ownership of in that situation. Is a big one. It's trust yourself and your ability to adapt to the circumstances. So even if it's like your best case situation or your worst case scenario happens, know that you are going to put yourself in the best situation after that, right? So you made a choice and now you're going to live with it, and now you're going to make your next best choice after that. And believing that you're always going to make your next best choice is something that helps you with your current decisions. Key words I want you to remember with that are acceptance and forgiveness. So just think about those for a little bit. And then 9, the last step, finally, is just to make a decision. So once you've considered it thoroughly, you've looked at your consequences and how you feel about it, then you are in a better place to make an empowered choice without fear, anxiety, and guilt. That you have a way to feel empowered with your decisions regarding COVID, you might be looking for ways to be less hard on yourself and your work. So I know a lot of my entrepreneur colleagues struggle with perfectionism. I'll put a link to a blog post on how to stop self-criticism ASAP. It's one of my favorites, and I think more people should read it. So I hope you check that out. Link's gonna be below in the comments. For this first video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, a new process to feel more empowered. If you did, go ahead and give that a like, and you can share with your friends, subscribe, all that stuff. All right, peace.